Since the retirement of the mighty Sir Alex Ferguson, Manchester United's next managers proceeded to sign so many forms of players, from the lazy Anthony Martial. I'm not sure so many of you would have expected Marwan Fellaini to be a Manchester United player. You can name them. But what are the basic qualities that make you deserving to be a Manchester United player and put on this jersey? Welcome to the hotspot, and in this video I'm showing you what are the basic requirements to be a United footballer. Number one, you must play for the badge. This badge is not just a symbol. Man United players, and this is the culture that Sir Alex Ferguson had created, a culture of knowing how big the Manchester United badge is. And as a player, you should be able to give your all and die a little for this badge. You should know the importance, the honor, and the respect that comes with playing for that badge. And what that means is it's going to affect how you behave on and off the pitch. If you play for the Manchester United badge, you're supposed to respect the gaffer. You're not supposed to be like Anthony Martial, who shouts back at Eric Ten Hag when he's at the center of the pitch bellowing instructions to you, or trying to tell you what exactly to do. You must know that to put on this badge, you must have that discipline to play for it. You must carry yourself a certain way. Sir Alex Ferguson back then used to take it a notch higher by even going into the personal lives of these players and showing them how to behave as Manchester United players. Dress smartly, used to force players to cut their hair a certain way. David Beckham is one who felt the wrath of him after he failed to cut off his mohawk. So you can imagine what exactly that meant. It is all to understand that to play for this badge comes with honor. Number two, being a Manchester United player means it is the team first, not you first. As a Manchester United player, you need to understand that the club and the badge are bigger than you. So in everything you do, you put the club first, not you and your personal feelings. Well, clearly, some of the kids we've had today, like Jadon Sancho, maybe, do not understand that the team is bigger than them. So for them, they think because they were signed for millions of pounds, then it is them first, and the club has got to bend down to what they want. And that's why you see situations where players are complaining about training methods because to them, they don't suit them as individuals. But it's not about any of the players, it is about the team. Number three, qualities of a Man United player: you should be hard working. Be hard working. It doesn't matter how good you are, how talented you are as a player, you must be hard working. Players like Phil Jones, Ashley Young before, these were mediocre average players we've had. Valencia, who even captained Manchester United, were all hard-working players. They will run until they drop. They will fight until the last minute. They will have the hard-working spirit that would push them to fight for the badge, that would push them to fight for the team they have put first ahead of them. Hard workers belong to Manchester United. No lazy players at United. We've never had so many lazy players like we've had, I think, in the last a couple of years at Manchester United. Why? Because guys did not know the template on which to base on before you select a player. So each coach would come in with their own players. That's why you see most of the players that Manchester United has signed under Eric Ten Hag are players that he has worked with before, either at Utrecht for Amrabat or at Ajax. Lisandro Martinez, Andre Onana, name them. What does this mean? It means that the manager defines the player they want to play for them. It's not about the manager. It's not about anyone. It is about the team. So for you to fit into the team, you must fit into the profile of a Manchester United player. Number four, to be a Manchester United player, to deserve to put on this jersey, you must be a leader. You must naturally be a leader. A leader means you should be able to talk to your colleague and tell them, no, that's not what is expected of you. You should be able to carry yourself in a way that you can actually be a captain, a potential captain of your country. All Manchester United players under Sir Alex Ferguson could potentially be captains of both Man United, but also of their countries, because they would symbolize leadership. That's what you do. That's what Manchester United teaches you. That's the culture that Manchester United teaches you. Let's look at this Manchester United player. Honestly, how many of the players do we have now that you think can put on the armband for their country? Let's start off with goal. Andre Onana was just recently banished from Cameroon, only for him to return from his self-imposed retirement after maybe reconciling with the coach. with the manager of the national team. That's not the leader. Number two, right back Diogo Dalot. Would Diogo Dalot be a captain even of your under 20 team? I don't think so. Number three, Luke Shaw. Maybe Luke Shaw has got attributes of a leader, but because he's been around longer than everyone else, he's been in the he has got the roots of a United player. He's a United boy. Number four, going to the defense, Harry Maguire was stripped of captaincy. Has signs of a leader, if you ask me, but not the confidence of one. So meaning he failed at leading. Number five, uh, Lisandro Martinez. Is he a leader? His attitude, his anger is too much. His rage is too much. That's not the attitude of a leader. So you've got to balance it up. Going to the middle, Scott McTominay. Can he lead you? Would you see him as a leader? Would you follow him? Because one thing a leader needs are followers. Can Scott McTominay be your leader? We are all complaining about Bruno Fernandes. He's the one guy who is always complaining and mourning over everything and anything. That's not the character of a leader, not a leader. So think about it and you see that clearly Manchester United players do not exactly have the profile to lead. So not so many of them can be trusted to even captain their national teams. That's the number four. Number five, and this is one thing that clearly has been lacking at United. You must be world class at something. You cannot be a Manchester United player, but when you're not world class at anything, if you are, you can at least be world class, a world class playmaker, at least be world class at controlling the ball. I'll tell you, Babatov was world class when it came to controlling the ball. If Rod van Nistelrooy was world class when it came to finishing. Wayne Rooney was a world class striker. That one was a complete world class striker. So is Robin van Persie. Paul Scholes was world class at shooting and passing. Ryan Giggs was a world class leader. His character and combative nature was world class. Gary Neville was world class with his attitude and his overlapping as a winger. Ferdinand was a world class defender. Nemanja Vidic was a world class tackler. Every Man United player that we've seen in our successful teams was world class at something. Let me ask you, Diogo Dalot is world class at what? Scott McTominay is world class at what? Tell me. Sofian Amrabat is world class at what? Pardon? Uh-huh. Go on. And you can go on and add on. And Anthony Martial is world class at what? Maybe at being lazy. Does that count? So a Man United supporter has got to be world class at something, not a bunch of mediocres put together to try to form what should be the biggest and strongest club or team in the world. That doesn't work like that. So I hope you can add more. What other qualities? For me, these are the most important qualities. As you would see, most of these qualities are not even about the football. And by world class, I'm saying you might be world class at your attitude, world class cheerleader, a world class. But John O'Shea was never a world class footballer. Neither was Wes Brown. But they were world class at their attitude, at least. They made it world class because of how they worked hard. But United players today are not world class. They are all mediocre and average at anything and everything. And that's why we've formed a team that, for many, can pass for a bunch of nobodies. We've got only a few world class players and only a few players who deserve to be putting on the Manchester United jerseys and the jersey. And this is exactly what Sir Jim Ratcliffe has got to change when he comes in. Set a standard for a Manchester United player, and every coach that comes in should fit into that standard. Hotspot, subscribe. This is the United Hotspot.